Okay, so we are going to prepare the manifold, not flush it, but prepare it, okay? The first thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and put me a little towel underneath here, because when I do go to flush it, I'm going to make a little bit of a mess, okay? I like to work from left to right. So meaning I work on my lines from the left side and move to the right. Your first line in this 4-quart manifold is your pressure line, whether it's for the AO or the right side of the heart, whatever we're doing, okay? So I'm going to start by tightening it, making sure it's tight. I'm going to remove this stopcock. It's not needed. It just comes that way on this particular manifold. I'm going to save it for later, you never know. I'm going to tighten it down. And then I am going to tighten the tip of this transducer. That is what measures the pressure waveform, by holding here and twisting and holding at the top at the same time. So you hold this firm and then you twist and everything's tight. My next line is my pressurized heparinized saline line. It's used for flushing, aspirating back when we connect catheters and whatnot. And so I'll take it by making sure it's tight first. And then I'll undo this. This is trash. And this is also something to control the flow of the heparinized saline. Okay, so I like to leave it where my nurse can control it. That's just my preference, but I make sure it's open. And then when I hand this line off, I hold the tip and I hand it off to my circulator, who I want to make sure, take it, it's someone common cat for them, plugs it into the pressurized heparinized saline line. Okay? All right, while they're doing that, my next line is my contrast line, and it comes in this burette. It's not put together. Keep life simple. Undo these corners, pull it out. Call it a day, okay? I keep this on because when I hand this off, you know, it's an easier way to maintain sterility as well, okay? So if they accidentally touch it, my circulator, it's okay. This cap's still on there. So I put it on its line, I tighten it up. And by the way, as I'm going and tightening the lines, I'm making sure they're off to each line. As you can see, this valve says off, so I'm making sure as I'm connecting and tightening each line that the port, well, the valve to it, the control knob, or whatever you want to call it, I don't care, is off to that line. So I've tightened this up. I've taken this. You'll see some people stretch the tubing because it's stiff, and it's stiff for a reason. And I hand it off to my circulator, who is then going to connect it to the contrast spike. All right. So we're on to my 4th line. My 4th line on this manifold is my waist, and also an additional line for me to draw up an ACT, O2 sat, or to give meds intracoronary. So first I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to make sure this is tight. I'm going to turn this off to atmosphere so that this flow is open. I'm tightening here, and again, this is the port where we can draw ACTs, we can give intracoronary medication, and we can also draw O2 sats. And I tighten this line. This is a one-way valve because this goes to a waist. So I should never be able to pull back from my control syringe here and pull back the waste that I've put in this bag, okay? And at this point, I'm going to stop, and this is where I want to flush my manifold before connecting my control syringe.